Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve,
And I'm Scott.
and together we are Backyard Musing, broadcasting from Apple Valley. We are the Science and Technology channel. We're not the subject matter experts, we're just color commentary. We bring you the information from scholarly reports by subject matter experts. All right. Yesterday was really interesting, wasn't it, Scott? The cannabinoid deal?
Yep, talking about CBD and THC. Yep, I had
Yeah,
no
that was
idea that
interesting.
pregnant women were taking that stuff to help them
Yeah.
not be nauseous.
Okay. Scratching an itchy rash worsens inflammation by triggering pain sensing neurons and activating mast cells, creating a damaging feedback loop. While scratching helps remove bacteria, and makes you feel good, it ultimately harms the skin more than it helps. Scientists are now exploring new treatments to control inflammation without the negative effects of scratching. A new study published on January 30th in Science reveals how scratching increases inflammation and swelling in a mouse model of allergic contact dermatitis, a type of eczema. Would you like to know more?
Allergic contact dermatitis occurs when the skin reacts to allergens or irritants, such as poison ivy or metals like nickel, resulting in an itchy, inflamed rash. While scratching may temporarily or offer temporary relief, it actually triggers more inflammation, worsening symptoms and slowing down the healing process. Quote, at first, these findings seem to introduce a paradox. If scratching an itch is bad for us, why does it feel so good? Said senior,
Exactly. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah, said senior author Daniel Kaplan, MD and PhD professor of dermatology and immunology at the University of Pittsburgh. Again, back to a quote. Scratching is often pleasurable, which suggests that in order to have involved or evolved, this behavior must provide some kind of benefit. Our study helps resolve this paradox by providing evidence that scratching also provides defense against bacterial skin infections. So, have you ever scratched yourself hard enough to where it started to bleed?
Yeah. Yeah.
You need help.
Yeah. I do.
No,
I do. I'm serious.
it's like
Because,
picking a scab, right?
yeah,
You just leave it
exactly.
alone, but we
It's
can't
like
leave it.
after I saw this article, I was like, now I have knowledge that scratching is bad, but I can't stop myself. It's like compelling, or I'm impelled to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, to figure out what drives this vicious cycle, and it is vicious, I'll tell you. Kaplan, first author Andrew Liu, student in Pitt's medical scientist training program, and their team used itch inducing allergens to induce eczema like symptoms on the ears of normal mice. Way to go, mice, thank you. And
Yeah.
those that don't get itchy because they lack an itch sensing neuron. When normal mice were allowed to scratch, their ears became swollen and filled with inflammatory immune cells called neutrophils. In contrast, inflammation and swelling were much milder in normal mice that couldn't scratch because they wore tiny Elizabethan collars similar to a cone of shame, quote unquote, that a dog might sport after a visit to the vet, and in animals that lack the itch sensing neuron. This experiment confirmed that scratching further aggravates the skin.
Next, the researchers showed that scratching causes pain sensing neurons to release a compound called substance P. Uh,
Ooh.
yeah, why do they have to use that letter? In turn, substance P activates mast cells, which are key coordinators for inflammation that drive itchiness and inflammation via recruitment of neutrophils. Quote, in contact dermatitis, mast cells are directly activated by allergens, which drives minor inflammation and itchiness, according to Kaplan. In response, again a quote, to scratching, the release of substance P activates mast cells through a second pathway. So the reason that scratching triggers more inflammation in the skin is because mast cells have been synergistically activated through two pathways,
Mm.
unquote.
Mast cells are culprits in a range of inflammatory skin conditions and allergic reactions, but they're also important for protecting against bacteria and other pathogens. As such, the researchers wondered if scratching induced activation of mast cells could affect the skin microbiome. In experiments led by co author Marlies Measle, PhD, assistant professor of immunology at Pitt, the team showed that scratching reduced the amount of Staphylococcus aureus, the most common bacteria involved in skin infections on the skin.
Do you think that guy's last name is really Measle? Isn't that part of the backlash of having measles? Is it's really
I think it's a woman. Marlies is a woman's name, isn't it?
I don't know, but measles and scratching, doesn't that kind of go hand in hand? I didn't have measles, so I'm just saying.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, okay. All right. I don't know. Twisted way of looking at it. Quote, the finding that scratching improves defense against Staphylococcus aureus suggests that it could be beneficial in some contexts, says Kaplan. But the damage that scratching does to the skin probably outweighs its benefit. I don't know. It would have to be, I don't know if it outweighs it. When itching is chronic. Now, the researchers are investigating new therapies for dermatitis and other inflammatory skin conditions such as rosacea and urticaria that suppresses inflammation by targeting receptors on mast cells. So,
yeah.
hydrocortisone, right? Anti-itch cream. I don't know. And believe me, I've never had anything that's really caused itching other than I think dry skin. So I don't really know. I mean, I've never known anybody that's had poison ivy. Have you ever known anybody that's gotten poison ivy?
Oh, I had poison ivy.
You've had poison
Going
ivy.
places I shouldn't have been going for
When you
repelling.
were a kid? When you were a kid?
No, as an adult for repelling.
Oh.
Going into
wow.
off limits areas to repel down a
like a rock face or something.
Well, it was a quarry. And it was private property, and I crossed the line, and and that's the payback I got. I got poison ivy, and it was itchy, man.
Okay, so what do you do?
Use like aloe, coat it with aloe.
Okay.
Kind of pat it.
Calamine lotion. I've heard calamine lotion works.
You can do that with scabs too. Just pat the scab, and you kind of get the same feeling of, but you're not scratching it off.
Gotcha. So
yeah, but I mean, for like jock itch, you can't pat down there because you'll hurt yourself, So I doubt women have the problem with jock itch, but men do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we'll end it with that. So.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one.
Take care, everyone. Thanks.